Story time. I've written an article that's attached about healthcare inequities, but before you do that, I'd like to tell you a story. This is my heart. You can see her. She smiles. She is absolutely precious and gorgeous, and she's my daughter's daughter. And no, I don't allow them to call me grandma. I'm Auntie Mia, and that's a story for another day, okay? So let's just get that out of the way. But she got sick. Her pediatrician had said that we needed to put her in the hospital because she was almost 5 months and had just busted 10 pounds. She was not gaining any weight, and we were concerned. Additionally, she had this gurgling in her chest, and she had acid reflux so bad that she would just be spitting up for a while. And it looked like constipation or colic, but she just had these severe pains that looked like they were in her bowels or something. We just didn't know what was going on. And the pediatrician said, enough is enough. We got to do this. So we went in on a Monday and we thought we'd be out by Wednesday, but by Friday, we still were there. And they were sitting there asking us to stay another day. What happened? Well, nothing happened. Monday came. They didn't do anything. No tests. They took a few blood samples, which was difficult because she's an infant and her veins are very small and they hardly could get in it. Then they did nothing. So by Wednesday, my daughter was floored. She was over the moon and not having it, ready to take Amelia out. And I calmed her down. We got to talk to the department chairman for the pediatrics board. And he just told us that it was back and forth, and he placated us and told us that this was nothing to worry about, that the course of action to which we had not been told or privy to was to continue, and we will be okay. Well, a failure to thrive, which was the diagnosis, also can put you in trouble with the Department of Social Services, because now they want to know what's happening in the home, and now you're in the system, and Black people in the system don't do well, period, no matter what people tell you. But so Wednesday came, no answers, no plan, no discussion on it. The intern was trying his best to communicate to us, but basically it was, we're going to increase the caloric count of her milk, and that's pretty much it. And then we're going to watch and see what happens. But this child was throwing up and gurgling, and it wasn't just us. The nurse saw it too. And they said, call, the doctor said, call us when it happens. Well, it took them 2 hours to get to us. By that time, Amelia had moved on to something entirely different. But this one particular day, the most senior resident, who was the head for all of these interns and residents, came in and she was talking really loudly. And I was like, could you lower your voice? Amelia's had a rough night. She hasn't slept. We haven't slept. And I don't want her to wake up right now. She's off her schedule. We're trying to get her back on her schedule. And she goes, not even looking at me? Oh, don't worry about it. I'm a baby whisperer. I can do this. Anytime I can put the baby back to sleep because I've been doing this for 10 years. Well, it was all I could do not to just go, I know you didn't just say that to me, because it was highly dismissive and disrespectful. But I stepped back and I remember the words of someone else who is in the medical profession and another doctor. And she explained to me how women in the medical profession have to be bolder, they have to talk over people, they have to be a little rude by our standards to be seen, to be heard, to be taken seriously. And I thought, probably that's her perspective, but it was very dismissive to us. Nothing happened until I got the idea to call my boss and the founder and ask them what they thought. And they sent us on a path that ultimately had us go to other doctors outside of the hospital. And we found out that there were social determinant factors where she was living that had mold. And we had reported it to the landlord, but the landlord didn't take us seriously. Went in, washed the walls, but the mold came back. And we found out later that it was black mold. So some of Amelia's breathing issues were that. The other thing we found out that the acid reflux was so dangerous that she could wind up damaging her larynx or her vocal cords. And the gurgling was coming up so high, it was going into her lungs, and we were feeling and seeing the splashing of it into her lungs. and yet they didn't see anything. They discharged us with no diagnosis other than failure to thrive. Read the article. You'll get more information around that. And if you like, hit me up on LinkedIn with your questions. Have a great day and enjoy the read.